Okay, so the first thing that you want to do whenever introducing a new graphic organizer or supplemental aid for students is have opportunity for kids to develop meaning and connections for those graphic organizers. If kiddos don't have that meaning and connections, they're less likely to use it on their own when they're working independently. Okay, so we see our graphic organizer here, but it is labeled and color coded. Okay, we see here that our circumference represents that top full bar. Our diameter is the middle three pieces, and then the radius is the bottom six pieces. Okay, so we can tell kids this all the time, but we want them to experience this. Okay, so if you've been with the district for a while, you have seen maybe this activity with the three pieces of string or yarn. Okay, now notice these three pieces of string match the color codes that are provided in the graphic organizer. Okay, so what we see here is that these three pieces of string are all the same length. And so kiddos can take a piece of string, wrap it around a circle to measure out the circumference, and then make the other pieces the same length. And so we really establish that all three of these pieces represent the circumference. The goal then here is to then have kids take their yellow piece of string, measure out their diameter, the distance from one edge to another through the center of the circle, and then see how many of those pieces they can cut out of what they have here, that starting piece, the circumference. And so when they make that cut, they are going to see that it's about three and a little bit more. They will then move on to the red, measure out their radius from the center to the outside, and then they will see that they can get about 6. Okay, this develops just like the supporting standard says, that idea of approximating our formulas, that about 3 diameters, 3.14 to be exact, will give us that circumference. Now, I've seen this activity brought out into fruition in the classroom, many different creative and elaborate ways. So, with use of string, we've seen with the different tapes on the index cards, and I've even seen a teacher run with glow sticks and using the little brackets that connect them as the little 0.14 extra pieces that were left over. Okay, so these activities help kids to develop those relationships, and then the graphic organizer kind of sets it in stone for them. Okay, now when we talk about SDI, we talk about not only providing this accommodation for kiddos, but then also being intentional with our teach piece and having that plan for gradual release. Okay, so looking here, I could then next provide kids a sample problem with this then blank color coded graphic organizer. Okay, so they can read a circular tablecloth has a radius of 2.5 feet. And as they read through this problem, they identify, okay, well, what is it that I have? What is it that I'm trying to solve for? Okay, kiddos can then grab their red piece of string, or they can come back down here and say, I have this smallest piece right here. The radius is 2.5. Looking at my relationships, I know that 2.5 and 2.5 will give me a diameter of 5. So they build those connections. Okay, so then my yellow string will be 5 feet. And then if my yellow string is 5 feet, 3 of those, 5 plus 5 plus 5, will give me my approximate circumference of 15. Okay. Moving on, if I want to then kind of take away, I might then next week provide some more sample problems without the color coding and allow kids to use them as well. Okay, but we know come to the end of the year at state testing time, they have to pool their own supplemental aids for use. Okay, so then I might move on to, well, here's a question, but I've provided now some kind of teacher talk questions here. Is there support you can use to help you solve this problem? Or where can you access support or tool to help you solve this problem? Ideally, getting to the end of that gradual release, the kids are just given the basic problem, and then they go and pool their graphic organizer to use on their own independently.